Now on to public hearing, and Dan Olson presenting. This is on considering a resolution authorizing the sale of lot at 5573 Zane Avenue North for construction of new home.
Yes.
Thank
Good
you, Dan.
evening, President Parsons and members of the board. This is item 4 on your agenda. As we said, this is a public hearing to consider a lot sale to Novak-Fleck for construction of new home at 5573 Zane Avenue North for $60,000. This is the general location of the site. It's near the intersection of Bass Lake Road and Highway 81, just a little bit east of there. The proposed plan here is, this is the proposed plan. You saw this on January 2nd. They gave tentative approval to this. The plan has not changed. The house plan has not changed since that time. It is a split entry with a 3-car detached garage, 1,200 square feet on the main level with an open living, dining room, kitchen area. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, unfinished square footage on the lower level for additional living space. It's very similar to a home that Novak-Fleck built recently off of Lakeland. This is a fairly common model that they've been building. This particular, if you remember, this particular sale requires a variance. The house, I'll show you the site plan here in a minute, but basically the house is going to be 10 feet from the south property line rather than the required 30 feet. That's required by the zoning code, so that requires a variance. The home will be set back a little more off of Zane than is normally required. Instead of the 20 feet that the zoning code requires, it'll be 30 feet, so they're pushing it back a little bit. The variance would be justified because the new home will be about the same distance from the street as other homes on Zane. The new home's distance from the south lot line will look about the same as homes with a standard side yard setback. And just a side note, the builder could build this lot without the variance, but they worked with us and we thought this was a better option, just to locate the home in a way that would give more open space for the future homeowner to have. The variance will be considered by the Planning Commission next week, and then on the 20th, at your next City Council meeting, the variance will be considered at that time. You also had asked at the last EDA meeting about possibly pushing this home farther south. Could that person, a future homeowner, subdivide this lot and put a home in that vacant spot? The short answer is no. It'd be very difficult because a future council would have to approve 3 variances, which isn't very likely to happen. So the future, in order to do this, you'd have to have variances from the lot width. You'd have to have be reducing it from 65 to 51. And the lot size would also, you need variance for that. That's currently about a little under 11,000. You would need 12,000 to split this. And then the lot depth does not meet requirements either to split this. So it'd be very difficult to approve a second home on this lot. This is the site plan, which shows that it's 51 feet from the home to what's considered the north property line, which is the highway easement. So you'd have to have 65 feet there in order to split this. So, and the other issues I said too as well, just makes it very difficult to do that in the future. So I don't think that'll be very likely. Here is the elevation of the home with a 3-car garage facing Zane. This is the floor plan, which shows the open concept. I'm sorry, this is the main level. It shows open living concept with the bedrooms and the living room, kitchen, dining room. And this is the lower level, which would show future living space of bedrooms, family rooms, etc., bathrooms. Just a kind of a quick update for you on this area. There's potentially several new homes going into this little intersection right here at Zane and Bass Lake Road. At the bottom of your screen there, you see the 5573. That's the one we're talking about right now. So that would obviously that would close very soon, the sale of that. Just north of that, across the road, is the 5607 Zane, which is the next item on the EDA agenda. And you're being asked tonight to give tentative approval to that sale, also to Novak-Fleck. And then the lots to the west of the 5607 Zane, there's 3 platted lots there now off of Vidare. In a couple weeks, you'll be seeing a plat that the EDA staff is bringing before you to combine this lot into 2 lots. So we'll have 2 lots instead of 3 to make them just a little bit bigger, to make it more a nicer home, for a nicer home to go to. So there's a lot of activity on this intersection, but I hope this graphic really kind of helps you understand what's happening. So with that, I'm available for questions if you have any.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner LaRoche?
Not on the actual property itself, but right behind it, the 5,500, that will never be built on, correct? That's a water retention or pond retention?
Is that right here, this area?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a retention pond, yes, for the industrial building to the west, yeah.
Okay.
All right, seeing no more questions, I'll open the public hearing. And seeing no one approach, I will close the public hearing. And John, Commissioner Budichewski.
I'll make a motion approving the sale of the lot at 5573 Zane Avenue North to Novak-Fleck for construction of a new single-family home.
Excellent. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
All right, Commissioner LaRoche. And any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Say aye.
Okay. All opposed, say nay. And motion carries. All right, on to number 5, considering tentative acceptance of a proposal from Novak-Fleck for construction of a new single-family home on the EDA lot at 5607 Zane Avenue North, and Mr. Olson presenting.
Yes, just alluded to this here in my previous presentation. This is to give tentative acceptance, as you said, to purchase proposal from Novak-Fleck, the same builder, for $55,000 at this property right across the street from the last one. This, of course, is the general location site. You may remember a few months ago that there was a fourplex here that was demolished, and this is the location of that. So you purchased this in 2017, and then the fourplex was demolished. This is very similar to the last house plan. It's a split entry. Only the biggest difference is this is a 2-car garage instead of a 3. It's got the same square footage on the main level. Basically same lot or house configuration, very house plan, and it's very similar to other homes that Novak-Fleck has built.
Excuse me.
This is the site plan showing the proposed home location, facing Zane there with the driveway. And this is the elevation drawing. It's again a very similar. It's the exact same house as the last one you saw. Only it's a 2-car garage, and the house floor plan is the same on the main level as we just saw, and also on the lower level. So that's my presentation in a nutshell. If you have any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Kolb?
What's with the 2-car garage?
They just felt like that was the lot is more narrow than they just didn't
The
feel like
space deal?
yeah, space. Yeah, it's a corner lot too as well. So
Commissioner Budichewski?
Roughly, what's the size of the backyard? I mean, can you just give me an idea of that space?
I didn't measure that.
I guess you got a 30-foot drive, right? And then the depth of the house is approximately, was it 24, 20? Is that right? Is it
24 and 20,
50
26,
feet?
basically.
50 feet, right? So that's 80 of 133, right? So 50. 50. That's a nice sized backyard, I think, for a rather skinny lot. So.
Yeah, I think it's got a nice sized backyard.
Okay. It's kind of go ahead. I'm done, I guess. I think I've said enough.
Mr. Sutter?
On the garage question, I just wanted to point out that I think they originally were showing a 20 or a 22-foot garage, and we asked them to upsize it to 24, so it's at least a slightly in the larger size for a 2-car garage, so there's a little extra storage space. I mean, the lot width doesn't provide a lot of room without pushing the house closer to Bass Lake Road. And again, the market's changing, and while 3-car garages are still a big selling point, not everybody wants or needs one, and the share of buyers that are willing to go with a 2-car garage, as long as it's a decent sized 2-car garage, that share, I think, is increasing again. So they're certainly comfortable. The builder was even comfortable with a smaller 2-car garage than this. I guess if they're comfortable with it, I think we are.
Okay.
I think they did want to push it a little bit farther from Bass Lake Road.
Right.
It's a little bit farther than it was required to be, only 2 feet, but it's still.
Any more discussion? All right, looking for a motion to approve. Commissioner Budichevsky?
I'll make a motion approving the sale of the lot at 5607 Zane Avenue North to Novak-Fleck for construction of a new single-family home.
Looking for a second. Commissioner LaRoche?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And on to number 6, presented by Mr. Sutter. Informational item on 2017 housing, foreclosure, and rental summary.
All right, thank you again. This will be short because you have a lot of details in your packet, but I just wanted to provide a brief summary of that we do once a year on what happened in the housing market and with foreclosures and rental properties in the prior year, so in 2017. Median sale price in Crystal passed a milestone, which I'll get into in a minute. And it's not just that it's back up over 200,000. That's one milestone, I guess. But if you look at the spread between Crystal or with Crystal and then the adjacent cities, with a low median sale price in North Minneapolis, the Camden portion of Minneapolis, of 155,000, and then up in Plymouth or over in Plymouth, it's 340,000. That's quite a spread. But a lot of that is because the homes in Plymouth are simply much larger. If you look at per square foot, Crystal is right in line with our immediate neighbors, Robbinsdale and New Hope, at about $128 per square foot. And the spread between the low of 111 in Brooklyn Center and the high of 155 in Golden Valley is a lot narrower. So what this is showing is that on a per square foot basis, the variation between suburbs is not as great as the actual sale price might suggest. In older suburbs, in older cities, the homes tend to be a little smaller. So that contributes to the price differential quite a bit. You've all seen this chart before. This is the Crystal housing market over 10 years. At a glance, every dot is a home sale. But for the public who may be watching, basically the last 5 years or so has been a very typical but very strong market. It goes up and down with the seasons. Sales prices tend to peak. The better time of year to sell homes is in the spring and the summer, and then there's a little trough late in the year or early the following year, and then it goes back up again. But one interesting takeaway from this, though, if you look at how the density of dots is so much lower on the left-hand side of the chart, what that means is while home prices during the latter part of the bubble were about where they are now, there weren't that many homes being sold. The market was already weakening in 2007. And Crystal's peak price was actually in 2005. We are 12 years since the peak. Get to why that's significant in a second. So the milestone is we are now barely above where we were in our prior peak year of 2005 in terms of home sale prices. In 2017, Crystal and Robbinsdale joined Maple Grove, Plymouth, and Golden Valley in once again being above their prior peak home sale price. North Minneapolis, Brooklyn Center, New Hope, and Brooklyn Park are still below their prior peak, but they're very close, and they'll probably surpass it in 2018. So, if home prices are adjusted for inflation, though, only Plymouth and Golden Valley are above their prior peak, and just barely. So, what I just talked about was nominal numbers, nominal dollar figures. If you adjust for inflation over the last 12 years, we're still well below where we were at the peak of the housing bubble. And that should illustrate for you just how big the housing bubble was. And that gets into the next issue, which is foreclosures. We only had 30 foreclosures this year, which is very good. It's the lowest in 12 years, as far back as we've been tracking it. But I think kind of the sobering thing about this is 2/3 of those foreclosures this year were mortgages written before 2009. In other words, were mortgages written during the housing bubble. Those mortgages are still going bad so many years later. So we're still kind of dealing with the fallout of that. But in terms of when properties are actually being sold, the market is so strong now that under 8% of our home sales in 2017 were distressed properties. That's foreclosures and short sales. That figure peaked at 60% in 2011. In 2011, 60% of the home sales in Crystal were distressed. So that's an amazing recovery, and our market is strong but normal, if that makes any sense.
Can you define distressed properties?
Short sales or foreclosures. A foreclosure is a property that the bank has gone through the process and retaken title to the property through the sheriff's sale and the redemption. A short sale is something to kind of head off foreclosure, where the bank agrees to write down the amount that's owed to facilitate the sale by the homeowner before it goes into foreclosure.
Thank you.
Point of clarification. Are you able to capture the post-sheriff sale pre-foreclosures as distressed as well?
Well, no, they've already been counted as, well, if they are, when I say, let me go back to this, the 7.8%, those are homes that in 2017, their status at the time of the sale, the seller was either a bank who had foreclosed, or it was a homeowner who was about to lose it to foreclosure, and the bank allowed a short sale instead. Does that?
No, I think we're missing something there. There are houses that are sold after the sheriff's sale by the owner at the sheriff's sale price, where the redemption takes place simultaneous with the sale. And those are also considered distressed.
Well, they've already been counted. No, I'm sorry, I'm not following. If the homeowner...
Because the bank...
The bank, you mean the homeowner redeems?
The bank technically doesn't own it until the foreclosure occurs, even though they buy it at sheriff's sale. During the redemption period, it's still considered a distressed sale, and I'm wondering if we're capturing those.
No, but that actually doesn't happen that often. There have been a few of those, but I don't know. We don't track it because it is fairly rare. Usually, once a property has a sheriff's sale and then it's in the redemption period, very rarely does that property not end up in the hands of the bank at the end of the redemption period. It does happen, but it isn't anything that I track.
Okay, thank you.
So where were rentals at in 2017? Well, I think, as I said last year, we believe we hit peak rental in 2015. At the end of 2017, 8.3% of Crystal's houses, duplexes, and townhomes were rentals. And I've just gone across the screen here and showing you how that compares. It was increasing in the early part of this decade as properties were purchased by investors and turned into rentals. There were also a lot of, and this may be the most significant piece of it, of accidental landlords, people who were able, because of their incomes, were able to buy a new house somewhere, but they couldn't sell their house here, so they rented their house out for a while. Well, as the market has recovered, now they're selling into the recovery, and that has reduced somewhat the number or the share of homes in Crystal that are rentals. So that's the market-based factor here. We have slightly more rentals becoming owner-occupied homes as they sell than we have owner-occupied homes becoming rentals. And the market determines that mix and determines that trend. The other contributing factor, though, is the 2016 ordinance change where we exempted relative homesteads and group homes from rental licensing. And keep in mind, though, that the effects of that ordinance change are now baked into the numbers, because I think about half of them happened in the latter half of 2016, the other half happened in 2017. So don't expect to see any further reductions in this percentage for that reason. I think we've got them all accounted for now. So are there any other questions?
Commissioner Adams.
I'd just like to make a comment about that last slide. It's very telling in terms of how the rental market ebbs and flows and deals with different economic situations. It's kind of the free market working. You know, a lot of times people get concerned about rentals happening in their own neighborhood. You know, they don't want it in their backyard. But I think it's important to know that it actually serves a serious function in our economy, and that the market ultimately will correct itself and come back to what is considered normal. I think that very clearly illustrates that here on that slide.
Commissioner Budichevsky.
By any chance, do you know the number of homes that are up for sale right now in the city of Crystal?
It's very low. It's something like 50. I mean, it is a historically, and I've been saying this, it's been this way for a while now, so this isn't a newsflash to any of you, I'm sure, but I mean, we're at like 1 month supply of homes, and a 5-month supply is considered by the real estate industry to be a balanced market between buyers and sellers. So it is still a very strong market. I mean, I could go on and on about the reasons for it, but I mean, basically, Crystal has homes that are priced right. That dollars per square foot number I was talking about, we offer great value. And there's we're beginning to see a surge in new homeowners as a very large generation moves into that age when they want to start buying their own homes. And there's a lot of kind of trends that are coming into alignment and reinforcing each other that are continuing to keep this a very desirable home or a place for new home purchases. And that's why we're down to about a 1 month supply at this particular time.
All right, any other discussion before we move on? Okay, thank you so much. Excellent presentation. And on to number 7 in the agenda, other business. Any other business? All right. Then we will be looking for adjournment. Commissioner LaRoche.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Excellent. Commissioner Adams.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The end. Meeting adjourned.